You write a function. It computes the right answer, prints it to the console, and then a mysterious extra word appears underneath, none. Where did that come from? Today, we untangle the two most confused ideas about Python functions. Return and print. Return hands a value back to the rest of your program. Print only draws text on the screen, and every function you write, whether you ask for it or not, always hands something back. When you forget to say what, Python quietly hands back none. That stray none is a clue, and soon you will read it instantly. Recall the isEven function from last lecture. The keyword def tells Python we are defining a function. Right after def, we choose the function's name. The parentheses hold the arguments, the inputs the function accepts. The colon opens the body. The body's first line is the docstring, wrapped in the triple quotes. It is not required, but it should always be there. Think of the docstring as the specification, a contract between the person who writes the function and the person who uses it. It states what inputs the function takes, what it promises, what it does, and what it returns. Most lines in the body are ordinary lines you have seen before. The special ones start with return. The moment Python hits a return line while running a function, it stops right there, takes the value sitting next to return, and passes it back to whoever called the function. A function always returns something. Here isEven returns either true or false, a boolean. But a function can return an integer, a float, a string, any type you like. Return is simply how a function hands its result back to the outside world. Now here is isEven again with one change. The return keyword is gone. The work is identical. We still compute remainder as I mod 2, and the expression remainder is equal to 0 still evaluates to true or false. But look closely. Nothing says return. So what does this function hand back to its caller? It still computes the boolean, it just never passes it anywhere. This is completely legal Python, and it happens more often than you would expect. So what does a function with no return give back? Here is the rule. While a function runs, if it reaches the end of all its indented lines and has never hit a return, Python automatically returns none. Picture an invisible return, none waiting at the very bottom of every function. You would never write that line yourself, you simply leave return out. And none is not nothing. None is a value, the single value of a type called NoneType. NoneType has exactly one value, none, and we use it to mean the absence of a value. Let's trace carefully. We define two versions. isEven with return computes remainder and returns whether remainder is equal to 0. isEven without return instead prints that result. First, a subtle point about timing. When Python reads the file and sees a def, it does not run the function. It only records that the function exists in memory. The body executes only later, when we reach a line that actually calls the function. Now we call isEven with return, passing 3. The parameter I becomes 3 and the body runs. First, it prints the string with return. Then it computes remainder. 3 mod 2 is 1. Then it returns whether 1 is equal to 0, which is false. The instant Python sees return, it leaves the function and replaces the whole call with that value, false. But nothing catches it, so the call just sits there. To actually see a result, we wrap the call in print. Now print all isEven with return of 3 runs, the same body gets false, and the line becomes print of false. The console shows with return, and then false. Now the version without return. Again with 3. I becomes 3, it prints without return, computes remainder as 1, and sets hasRem to whether 1 is equal to 0, which is false. Then, as part of its body, it prints hasRem. So the console shows without return, then false. But this function has no return, so Python silently adds return none, and the call becomes none. Now wrap it in print. Print of isEven without return of 3 does all of that, printing without return and false. and then also prints the code's return value, none. So the console shows without return, then false, then a straight none. That extra none almost always means you forgot to return. The function computed the right value and printed it, but never handed it back. Should you always use return? It depends on what you want the function to do. Most functions are useful precisely because they go off, do a task, produce a value, and hand that value back, so you can call the same function on many different inputs and get many different outputs to use elsewhere. A print inside a function is a different tool. It is for debugging or for reporting the status of the function while it runs. If a function returns nothing, wrapping it in print shows none. If it returns something, that return value is what print shows. Time to test yourself with two functions. Add takes x and y and returns their sum. Mult takes x and y and prints their product with no return. Line 1. Add of 1 and 2. It returns 3. The call becomes 3. But the line was never told to print, so nothing appears. Line 2. Print of add of 1 and 2. Same sum 3, and this time we print it, so the console shows 3. Line 3. Mult of 3 and 4. Its body prints the product 12, so 12 appears. Line 4. Print of mult of 4 and 5. Mult prints the product 20. But mult has no return, so it hands back none. The line becomes print of none, and none prints. Across 4 lines, the first prints nothing, and the last prints 2 things, 20, then none. Now the core distinction cleanly. Return only has meaning inside a function. Write return 5 on its own, outside any function, and the Python raises a syntax error, an easy one to spot. Print, by contrast, can go anywhere, inside functions, outside them, wherever, and every print runs. You can put many returns in one function, say return 0 in one case and return 1 in another, but Python runs at most one of them. The first return it hits ends the function immediately and hands its value back. Prints are the opposite. You can hit as many as you like, and each one produces output. Returns value travels back to the caller. Print's value only lands on the console and goes no further. Here is the twist that ties it together. Print is itself a function. It has all the signs. A name, print, parentheses, and an argument like 5. So what happens if we wrap one print inside another? Print of 5. The inner print runs first and shows 5 on the console, but print does not return anything useful. It returns none. So the outer print receives none and prints it. We get 5, then none. The same lesson appears if we write A is set to print of 5, then print of A. The value stored in A is simply none because that is what print handed back. Let's debug a real function. Is triangular takes one integer greater than 0. It should return true if n is triangular and false otherwise. A number is triangular when it equals a running sum, 1 plus 2 plus 3, and so on. So 1 is triangular, 3 is triangular, 6 is triangular. Here is the buggy version. It loops I over range of n, keeps a running total, and when total is equal to n, it prints true. Otherwise, at the end, it prints false. Step 1 with any buggy code. Run it. Print of is triangular of 4 gives false. Correct, since 4 is not triangular, but it also prints a straight none. We just learned what that means. The function is printing its answer, not returning it. So the first fix is to change every print to return. Now is triangular of 4 returns false, and is triangular of 6 returns true. Next, check the other cases. Is triangular of 1 returns false, but 1 is triangular since 1 is just the sum of 1. Why does it fail? The loop runs I over range of n. For n equal to 1, range of 1 gives only 0. The loop never reaches 1, so the total never becomes 1. The fix is range of n plus 1, so we go up to and include n. If you had not spotted it, a good move is to add a temporary print inside the loop to watch what it actually takes. With the range fixed and the temporary print removed, is triangular of 1 now returns true. Finally, rerun the earlier cases to be sure nothing broke. 4 is still false. and 6 is still true. Two ideas cleanly separated. Return hands a value back to the caller and ends the function on the spot. A function with no return still hands something back, an implicit none, of type NoneType. Print does the opposite. It sends text to the console and passes nothing back to your program. That is why a stray none in the console is such a reliable clue. It usually means you computed the answer and printed it, but forgot to return it. And remember the asymmetry. Return is legal only inside a function and fires just once, while print can live anywhere and fire as often as you like. Master that and the function stops surprising you. To practice what you just learned, this course has free exercises and AI-graded feedback on ludium.ai. The link is in the description.